It's loose in front, and they deflect it home. Back in front. Low slot, they score. The zone at the point. From the center of the zone, it goes home. A wrist shot.
What's up, hockey fans? Welcome back to another installment of Behind the Bench with Coach Jeff Volkman. I am Greg, and we are here at Back Bar behind Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery in Chapel Hill on the famous Four Corners. Tonight we're going to talk a little strategy about the upcoming games. We have a couple of really big games this weekend. Of course, the Governor's Cup on Monday evening at the PNC Arena in Raleigh. And we have Will Douthit with us to my left, the goalie for UNC Hockey. And Will, so I saw a couple of emails about a week ago with some tragic news for hockey for your team.
Sure.
What happened?
You know, it's an unfortunate circumstance for sure, but my car got stolen in the parking lot of my house. You know, unfortunately, within inside of it was all of my hockey gear, and as any hockey player knows, especially goalies, you know, breaking in that gear and getting it all back, it's a big financial investment, it's a big time commitment as well. So, you know, fortunately, the community's been very responsive, and they've done a lot to support me in getting all my gear back and getting ready for the games coming up here.
So, Coach, so when this happened, we'll let you know, you started a GoFundMe campaign to help Will purchase equipment. Now, why is that? In college hockey, don't the universities supply the gear for the teams?
Well, not in our situation. NCAA, you know, the varsity, you know, they take care of all the resources. With us, players have to participate. We have to fundraise. We have to fight. They do give us a nominal amount. However, you know, with the goalie position, you know, you're talking in excess anywhere between $4,000 and $6,000, depending on what type of equipment the goalie wants to wear. So it's a big deal. And then, nevertheless, you know, we have one goalie, which even hurts even worse. So, you know, we're relying on Will to get his stuff fitted back, and obviously started the GoFundMe, and we had excellent response.
Yeah, so speaking of response, you set a $5,000 target for the GoFundMe campaign.
Yep.
So 77 donors, and you exceeded the target with $5,385.
I'm speechless, truly. Truly, I did not expect that. My teammates, coach, they started this GoFundMe, and I did not expect it to take off the way it did. The way the hockey community responded, and the way that my teammates got it together, everyone in the Carolina community, it was something I could have never foreseen, and it was truly something special.
Coach, so obviously when you started this, was that your expectation? Did you expect, I mean, 77 donors is an impressive number, but to exceed the goal in such a short period of time, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's just reassuring, you know. It just shows you how special the hockey community is, and the greater community of humanity in the area. I had rival coaches. You know, during the game, we go out there, we hate each other for 60 minutes, but, you know, away from the ice, you know, we leave it on the ice, and I had rival coaches contact me, NC State, Duke. I even had Kentucky coach reach out to me and say, Jeff, what can I do here? And how can we help? I can get some equipment out to you guys. You know, what does he wear? So, you know, everyone understands the role of the goaltender, first and foremost, but they, you know, it just, you know, it's attributed to the special community we're a part of as a hockey community.
Right. So, Will, new gear on the way?
New gear is here.
It's here.
I'm ready for the game tomorrow. We got one Saturday, and of course the big game on Monday. So the gear I have is the gear I'm playing with, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, gotcha. So new gear. Any break-in issues? Any sort of, like, how are you going to? I mean, Governor's Cup is Monday night at PNC Arena. NC State, cheap, big rival, big game. Not exactly a easy team to get through.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about this new gear?
You know, I got to treat it like any sort of other adversity we see on the ice, right? This gear, while it might be a challenge to break in, I know that I got plenty of time, and you know, the ability to play through it, it won't be much of a hindrance on the way we play the game. And we're playing out there to get a win, and my gear is not going to be a stopping factor in that.
Awesome. That's it for this particular segment. I am Greg. We're here behind the bench at Back Bar at Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery in Chapel Hill on the famous Four Corners. We'll be back in a few minutes. Back behind the bench with Coach Jeff Volkman. Hi, I'm Greg, and we're here at Back Bar at Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery, the famous Four Corners of Chapel Hill. Joining us now is freshman forward to my far left, freshman forward Josh Carlson. Beside him, senior defenseman Kyle Oliveira, and of course, goalie Will Doutha. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
So, obviously, you guys were a big part of what happened to Will this past week. Talk to us a little bit about the hockey community in Chapel Hill's response to this challenge for the team and how you guys witnessed the outpouring of support.
Well, Greg, just the GoFundMe, I didn't expect that initially. Once it went up, 12 hours later, it was in the thousands of dollars mark, and that'll tell you just the rate. The response was immediate. It was so quick. I didn't expect that. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, another thing for me was how it spread like wildfire. We had guys, my family shared it up in New Jersey, and then other guys on the team were sharing it in Minnesota, and we had donations coming in from the University of Kentucky and NC State. It was just really cool to see like everyone coming together from the hockey community in general to support Will and our team.
Yeah, I think that's what Coach was saying, is that on the ice it's fierce competition, but off the ice it is somewhat of a community, a family of like-minded folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's start with you, Josh, as a freshman to the team. So how does it feel being part of this particular team?
Oh, this team. Oh, it's great, especially coming from the military background when I got out. Coming to this new university, don't have any friends. Like, oh hey, on the hockey team, just vibed right away. Training camp was phenomenal. We were clicking first day. The locker room was a great atmosphere. It was exactly what I needed, and I'm just glad to be on the team. Being able to play again is phenomenal.
So you're a freshman, Josh, but you've spent 7 years in the Navy, is that right?
That is
Active
right.
duty?
Yeah.
Okay, and so what prompted you to go back to school?
So I want to go to med school eventually, but UNC seemed like the way to go. I was already in North Carolina, easy transfer, and just great school. So yeah.
Okay, and you played hockey?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
My whole life.
And what is your impression of this particular team versus the teams you've played for in the past?
It's a little. They're great. They're great. It's just hockey. You know, hockey kids. We just mesh together easily. Hockey players just know other hockey players. They're on the same wavelength, I guess. And yeah, it's just real easy. It was real easy.
So med school's in your future. You're certainly a big part of this hockey team. How do you balance that, academics and this hockey program?
It's been tough. It's been tough, Greg. Especially my first semester at this university. It's been wild. Just adapting to the workload and the stress. Like a couple months ago, my muscles were just getting really fatigued during practice and stuff. And I had a meeting with coach and our assistant Ben Sizemore, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I'm getting fatigued so quick, and like, oh, how's your workload? I'm like, it's terrible. It's terrible. So like, yeah, that could definitely play an aspect in it, and we worked out a little stretching program, so it really helped. But this school is a ride.
And Coach Volkman, what's your favorite part of playing for him?
Coach is very soft. Soft. I wouldn't say soft-spoken. He's quiet. He's communication is phenomenal. He's just a great guy, and we just want to put out for him at every practice, every game. He's out there doing his thing. We just want to work as hard as we can for him.
Kyle, you're a senior. So sort of same question. This team versus the teams you've played for in your past. what would you say is the distinguishing element for Coach Volkman's team here at UNC?
I think this year the difference maker has been everyone's bought in. In the past, we've had a lot of talent, a lot of really good hockey players come in through our program. But this year it's been, I don't know if it's just a regime shift or something of that nature, but everyone seemed to have bought into Coach Volkman's system and the mentality that we wanted to put in place with this hockey team, and it seemed to work out in our favor so far.
And what are you studying here at UNC?
I'm an environmental science major with a marine science minor.
Wow, that's not easy either.
No, it's definitely not as hard as pre-med medical school over here, but no, it's been a lot of fun to gain exposure to the marine science field here at UNC.
And so there's a pretty heavy practice schedule and then a game schedule, so that's a lot on top of the academics, and you're a senior. So how are you balancing the demands right now on you?
So luckily, like, my past 3 years have been beneficial to me, kind of working on my time management skills, and I've taken some of that knowledge into the senior year to help myself kind of balance out my schedule, so that way I can divide enough time for hockey and enough time for academics and make sure that I'm on point.
And so you're playing defense for this team. Any pregame rituals that you go through as a defenseman?
Yeah, I have a couple. I like to tape my stick before every game and wax it up real nice.
What does that mean, wax it up real nice?
So there's this hockey product that I use. It's called Howie's Hockey Stick Tape or Stick Wax, and it smells real good.
It does.
Yeah. Then make sure to get a nice coat on top of my stick tape before going out on the ice, and then I won't let the blade of my stick touch the ground before getting out onto the ice. Yeah.
Okay. So when you're putting that wax on, is it wax on front, wax on back as well?
Yeah, so I do the bottom of my blade first, and then the front side, and then the back side, and then that's it.
And so when you don't do that right, what happens?
It throws off my game a little bit. That and putting on my left skate first. That always has to be the first thing out of my bag. Yep.
Josh, you're nodding. Are you a left skate first guy as well?
I mean, naturally, yeah. I don't even think about it. It just happens. Yeah.
I'm right there with you guys.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
Will, now as a goalie.
Oh goodness, yeah.
I mean, is this a very long list you're about to give us for
I don't
your
know if we have
pregame
enough time here
Yeah,
tonight,
okay,
but I can run through
right.
a few of them.
Well, give us your top three.
Ooh, goodness, top three. Well, I'm gonna sum it up. Before a game, I exit this planet. I really do. I don't think I talk to anybody. I don't really acknowledge anybody's existence. I just kind of get into my own world. And, that'll consist of stretching. I'll throw a ball against the wall. People, come up to me, and I really will talk. I don't talk to anybody. But let's rewind. Before that, this is something I've actually done since I was a kid. I call my mother before every game. It's a funny little thing I do.
Attaboy.
We just talk. 5 minutes, that's all it is. She's like, oh. We just talk, catch up, and that's it. Get ready for the game.
Is that a scripted sequence? I mean, is there something that, you have to cover in that conversation with Mom?
Sometimes, well, there's these things we've had, like her 3 rules since I was a kid, 6 years old. And that's just, it's kind of put me in the mindset to get ready to play. So, everybody, call your mom, love your mom.
Attaboy.
Important as a hockey player.
Attaboy, absolutely. So, speaking of getting into the zone, right, and sort of tuning into the game, part of this game involves some on-ice communications between rival teams.
Sure.
Trash talk. So, for the younger players coming up, there was a group of mites that encountered some trash talk for the first time on the ice. Josh, do you remember your first trash talking incident?
Specifically, Greg, I do not.
Okay.
I do not. But I do recall a lot of it growing up, especially in northern Michigan, where the puck's a little different up there. So,
what's your advice to the mites experiencing this for the first time? What is their mental approach, or what is your mental approach? What have you learned, and what would you tell them?
You just got to block it out. You got to block it out and play your game. Every shift, focus on what you can do to better the team, and nothing else really matters. Like really nothing else matters. Just focus on yourself.
And Will, I'm going to get to you because yours is special, I'm sure. Kyle, what can you tell us? What can you advise the Mites, especially as a defenseman in front of the net where it gets physical? How do you deal with the opposing team's competitive verbal discussion?
For me, I take a bit of a different approach to Josh. I like to go back at him with just as much firepower if I can. Try and think up some quick, witty lines up on the spot, and try not to make it seem like I'm taking too much time to make a comeback. But yeah,
It's an important part of hockey there. Chirping.
Gotcha. And Will, they're chirping at you all the time,
Oh,
right?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's the game. So what advice do you have for young goalies on how to get in the zone, stay in the zone, and play the game?
Absolutely. As a goalie especially, you really need to be able to have – the mental game is an absolutely imperative part of being a goalie. And you need to be able to block out all that extra noise, whether it's the crowd, whether it's the other guys on the ice. You need to be able to stop one thing, and that's just the puck coming at you, the next shot. So my defense, that's the best part as a goalie. You have this immunity in the crease. If I get touched, if I get bumped, I know this guy's coming up to give the guy a little glove in the face.
Love tap,
Maybe
yeah.
a few words after that. So.
Got it. Some little physical emotion and glad to have you as a competitor. Got it.
Absolutely.
All right, last and final question because we've just about run out of time. And I'll just go quickly with each of you. What is it you like most about the position you play today? Josh?
Being able to be aggressive, to go get the puck and put a body on somebody.
Attaboy. All right. Kyle?
I like the physicality of my position most, and the opportunity to hit a guy and put him in the second row for sure.
I'm sensing a theme. Will?
Yeah, I like laying guys out too.
There it is.
No, I mean, as a goalie here, I love the satisfaction of getting that goose egg on the board, right? Just letting the other team know you can't beat me tonight. That's what you play for as a goalie, and that's the best sort of feeling.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thanks so much. This has been great. We'll be right back with Behind the Bench with some more from Coach Jeff Volkman. Stand by. Welcome back to Behind the Bench with Coach Jeff Volkman. We are at Back Bar at the we are at the Back Bar at Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery on the famous Four Corners in Chapel Hill. Coach, had a great conversation with your players. I get why this team is special. It's very apparent in their camaraderie. Tell me a little bit about this roster that you've put together for this season and why they're so special. What's the special sauce here?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a tight-knit group. They really care. There's enthusiasm coming to the rink, coming to practice, coming to the games. They bought into the systems that we put in place, but they really care about each other, and part of that is we've got a short roster, okay, and we faced a lot of adversity already this year. Obviously going into the kickoff tournament, we were down to 13 guys. They were playing their heart out for each other. We have the next man up mentality, play for the guy next to you mentality. But this is a team, a group of guys. As coaches, we put things in place and they run with it. We make sure we instill leadership qualities and we try not to, we're the rudder, if you will. And they've stepped up, quality individuals, so it's been easy to create that environment in the locker room.
So you have a pretty big weekend and a very big game on Monday night coming up. Duke tomorrow night, right? At ECU Saturday, and then, of course, the Governor's Cup at PNC Arena against NC State. I have to ask, what's keeping you up at night as you think about this weekend?
Well, it's like having 15 kids outside of my own kids. I worry about these guys day and night. I hold myself accountable and take ownership for everything they do. The way the adversity, I'll keep going back to that they've faced. That's what keeps me up at night. The injuries and these guys are putting their heart into practice. I demand a lot out of them in practice. My approach is I'm not out there. I'm not a yeller. I lay the criteria down. I put things in place. I hold them accountable. They have to take ownership for the role that we give them. And they really are. So, it's really, this year has really taken off because of that. but as a coach, you're always up at night worrying about how to get more out of your players, how to put certain players in certain positions to create better chemistry, but very, very player-centric approach.
Got it. So UNC has had a few high-scoring matchups this year, including Duke on October 16th, which was a pretty big number. So it kind of suggests that things are going pretty well offensively for you. Mm-hmm. What kind of change-ups or what kind of adjustments to the offense are you thinking about for the games that you have coming up this weekend as you lead up to Monday?
Yeah, no, we don't concern ourselves so much with the results, from the coaching staff at least perspective. We're process driven, and you can't always control the results, right? What you can control is what you do out there as a team. We're very team oriented. But that, if we stick to our identity, our blue collar mentality, and we play the way, UNC hockey, the way we've laid out our systems, we're gonna be very competitive. We're gonna be a hard team to play against.
The freshman from Carrboro, Noah Friedman, been out since that game with Duke. Do you think he'll be ready in time?
Unfortunately, Noah, I just got word he's out for the season. So, yeah, it was a season-ending injury. It is what it is. It's an unsafe sport. We're next man up mentality. Our heart goes out to him. It's obviously a huge loss. One of the top scorers in our league. Freshman, but he's got a lot to look forward to. So he's doing the right things. He's following the orthopedic surgeon's prescription here and getting it fixed because he's got a lengthy career left in him.
What was the actual injury for those that don't know?
Yeah, it was a dislocation of the shoulder, and it was a reoccurring injury. He had the same injury last year. This one was a little more significant. And, it's just time to get it fixed now before it's too late.
Well, best wishes to Noah to heal quickly for the team. So let's focus in on NC State for a second. Monday night, annual Governor's Cup game at PNC Arena. How did this tradition begin?
Well, about 5 years ago now, just identifying the need to grow college hockey in general, and I reached out to Shane Willis and asked him about potentially putting a game at PNC Arena. He responded well to that, and we sat down with the arena manager at PNC Arena, Dave Olson, who was extremely supportive. This would have never happened if it wasn't for him and his support and giving us the ice and allowing us to hold this venue. But it's been a long-term vision, and it's really taken off. The other coaches, NC State, their community obviously have really taken a hold of this, and it's amazing to see how many fans that show up in that area in their backyard. That's great. But the hockey community in general, the youth hockey, and it's at the end of the day, it's great for the kids, right? And they just get a thrill playing in that arena at that venue.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is an NHL sheet, right? So do the players feel the weight of playing in that building?
I think at some level, but at the end of the day, we're a very discipline-oriented team. We're a team of composure. We're going to play our style, go out there, and, they block that out during the game. They block out, the fans, and, I think there's some excitement out there in warm-ups and the day of, the night before, maybe a little sleepless night. They're excited, but that's a good thing. You want to see that. They're excited. They care about it.
How do you manage the nerves once the game's underway? Is there something that you're suggesting on the bench or talking about or encouraging for the players as they start to get into the game and that anxiety sort of starts to influence the game?
Yeah, it just goes back again as coaches. You've got players that, you hold them, they contribute in different ways, in different roles. And, you go out there that first shift, you want to get out there, you want to get your feet wet, so to speak. If you're a hitter, go out and hit someone, all right? Lay a body on someone, you're going to get into the game mentally. If you're a scorer, get out there, and make something happen, get a puck on net. But there's different ways for different players, and everyone reacts differently, but that's definitely the message in the locker room, to get out there and we want to play 60 minutes of hockey. We don't want to delay, and we go out and get it.
Yeah, so NC State, very strong program, very strong offensively, according to the stats. What do you think are some of your defensive must-dos to keep NC State at bay offensively?
Well, we definitely have to be conscientious defensively, but I really feel strongly. I want my team to play to their identity, and we have some skill up front. We're a 5-man unit, within the 200 feet, but we're always thinking offense, and we're not going to take away from our game just because we're playing someone who may or may not have a little bit more talent than us. We're going to play UNC hockey, and we're going to be a tough team to play against.
Yeah, speaking of NC State and tough hockey, pretty stingy defense, you mentioned you have a pretty strong up front group. Any particular strategy? NC State has a pretty big back group of guys back there. How does your team get through that?
Yeah, as a coach, they definitely have the advantage. They've got a four-line team. There's a clear advantage there. But with the next man up mentality that we have, we got to, shorten our shifts up. We got to play hard. We got to play smart. I'm not going to go into our system and their structure, but we are going to play a tight structure against them, and we're going to play. We have to dictate the flow of the game, and at the core of it's going to require discipline, and that's what I work on all year. I get back to, my delivery and my message. I'm very confident when I say to the players, I want to instill that in them. If I'm yelling at my players, I'm not saying it hasn't happened as a coach before, but I'm doing something wrong, okay? And I really, that's the message I want. I want to communicate with my guys, and they need to get it done, and they have ownership, and they're held accountable. So we're going to take that and translate that to the game, and we're going to find success if we play all 60 minutes.
Okay, so let's talk about Duke.
Sure.
You've beaten Duke the last 2 games quite handedly, but the margin of victory has declined. Think you can make it 3-0?
They're a tough team, tough opponent. No matter what, they're a rival game. It's like playing NC State, Duke. They bring fans. It's the environment. It's a whole different game. I will say, you even see them from a team performance step up their game. They really want to beat us. So that makes it more exciting, and we thrive off that. Our players, we like to elevate their game. Our players are bringing that enthusiasm and our game prep. They're definitely up for Duke. We're not going to be fixated on the results. We're going to follow our process, and I'm very confident we're going to pull the undefeated season off with Duke.
One quick question before we move off of Duke. When a team like either team, or the winning team, delivers a spanking like the last one, how do you mentally keep them engaged and not look past this game for Monday? How are you going to make them pay attention on Saturday?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of running up a score as a coach. And I think that you put your players in a vulnerable position. The other team reacts differently, but you also pick up bad habits. So those can be tough games to play. The last time we played Duke, it was a very close game, and we didn't have that problem. But as a coach, personally, I don't like to see a win's a win, but I don't like to see those blowouts, if you will.
Yep, quality of the game.
Yep.
So final question. What would you say, so you're shaping young men as they go through their collegiate experience from a coach perspective. What would you say is the top thing you want your student athletes to graduate Carolina with in remembering their time on your team?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a lot that I could put into that question, but we always have the conversation in the locker room. And, I want them to bring it, through their life when they graduate. Whatever you commit to, give 110%. Life is short, as you know. We're not getting any younger here. Time takes no prisoners, as they say.
Right.
But I want these guys. They're all quality individuals. They're very bright students, obviously, to get into the school. Whatever they do in life, take accountability for that. I want them to take responsibility, and just be good human beings as they move forward and give everything 110%. And and that'll, when you look back and reflect, as you probably know, most people can be pleased with giving 100%.
Words to live by for sure. Coach, thanks for sharing your strategies this evening. That's all the time we have for Behind the Bench this week with Jeff Volkman. Thanks again to our host, Scott Maitland, here at Back Bar at Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery, for making some room for us to hang out, talk hockey with the rest of the hockey fans here. That's it. Thanks for sharing your time with us as well. Good night.